Never have I experienced such profundity and beauty as in the expressions of love I witnessed on February 9th, 2015, when marriage equality reached my home state of Alabama. When my fiancée Stacy was contacted by the ACLU and asked to join the supporters, we sprang into action. That Sunday night was spent making signs and preparing for a long day, and at 7 a.m. on Monday, we left our small duplex in Opelika and set out for Montgomery. Born a straight man in the southern United States, I never thought I would someday be standing in front of a courthouse holding a gay pride sign while debating with a Christian on the validity of Scripture. But 8:15 a.m. found me in exactly that place. I was invited into a discussion with David Day, the lone protester, and for well over an hour we discussed the existence of God and the credibility of the Bible. David is a Christian fundamentalist, and I am an atheist. My position is that I see no empirical evidence supporting the existence of any God or gods, especially the God of the Bible. David's position seems to be the Bible, as translated by Ray Comfort. I attempted several times to get his personal thoughts and feelings on what was happening that day, but they always routed back to the Bible. For almost an hour and a half we talked, and though we don't see eye to eye, I will say this: I'll take David Day over a Fred Phelps any day. He wasn't mean or outright hateful. He was actually quite polite in his biblical bigotry. The rest of the day was spent meeting some truly amazing people, like one of the youngest couples to be married that day, Megan Holt, 19, and Jordan Robbins, 22. Normally, this day and age, if you see a young straight couple getting married, it's because the girl is pregnant. Obviously not the case here. They wanted to get married simply because they deeply love one another. It's a fact apparent to anyone who is around them for more than 5 minutes, but most apparent to Jordan's mother, Kimberly Zinke. Kimberly and her husband Leo accompanied the couple in support of their daughter and new daughter-in-law, support that has somewhat renewed my faith in humanity. I'm a believer, Kimberly said, referring to God, but their love is real. She went on to say that Megan's love has healed her daughter, that they have healed each other, and that she could not imagine standing in the way of that love. Quite a few protester voices have been heard mentioning family values. Well, in my opinion, a better example of family values than this, there is not. Throughout the day, couples cycled through the courthouse receiving applause from their supporters. Then emerged a pair of big lumberjack-looking guys sporting beards that ZZ Top could admire. I sprinted. I had to meet these guys. John Bales, 71, and Wade Tenney, 51, have been together for 17 years. Aside from being in love for so long, they've also been business partners. In 1998, they opened Alabama's first gay campground together, Black Bear Camp Men's Retreat. John and Wade operated the resort for over 16 years until they retired in November of 2014. The farewell letter to their customers, posted on the Black Bear website, is a testament to the lasting relationships forged in the Alabama wilderness. Stacy and I met some interesting people throughout the day, but none more so than Mr. Paul Hard. In 2011, Paul and his partner David traveled to Massachusetts to be married. Sadly, 3 months later, David was killed in a tragic car accident. When Paul received his husband's death certificate, the marital status read, "Never married." I could not imagine the pain of losing the person I love, but on top of that agony, the state of Alabama slapped Paul in the face. Sparked by this horrible turn of events, the amazing people of the Southern Poverty Law Center have worked for the past 4 years to have this changed, and on Monday morning, Paul was handed his husband's amended death certificate, recognizing their marriage. But Paul had more business to which to attend that day. From 8 a.m. until the last couple came through at almost 5 o'clock, Paul was available to officiate weddings. In fact, he conducted Alabama's second gay marriage. Between ceremonies, Paul could be found chatting with supporters and inviting people to the ACLU reception. His warm attitude and hilarious antics had people flocking to him all day. He is such an incredible person. Stacy and I made a decision that we didn't expect to make that day. As a godless couple of atheists, we had been wondering who we could find to perform our wedding ceremony. Later that night at the reception, it hit me, and we asked if Paul would be willing. Smilingly, he said, "I would love to." The mass reception put on by the ACLU was held at a Montgomery lounge called Crew. At around 9 p.m., several hours after I'd planned to be at home, a couple of very sweet old ladies exchanged their vows outside the lounge under a lit altar. Just before the ceremony began, the onlookers were asked to move in closer. "You're all family, get in here with us," they said. Tears streamed down my face as I witnessed their long-awaited legal union. I thought of the struggle these couples have endured, being told that their relationships weren't valid. But in Alabama, it seems, this struggle is lessening with the final words of the day. By the power vested in me by the Universal Life Church, and finally, the state of Alabama, I now pronounce you wife and wife. That day rivals only the births of my children as the most significant event I've ever been a part of. Unfortunately, the fight isn't over. There are still misguided and uninformed people everywhere, doing all they can to stand in the way of love. It isn't their fault. They learned these things, and they can unlearn them too. Make your own video. Describe the love you've witnessed or experienced yourself. Show the world that love will not be stopped, that we will not stand by and allow you to diminish and slander the true connection, not just physically, but also emotionally, mentally, and spiritually binding these people together. You will hear us. You will see us. And sooner or later, you will have no choice but to recognize us.